Hey everyone, today I'm with Andy the Card Shop Man.
Yo.
He's gonna teach us how to buy product. Yeah? Capiche? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's start. So, this is product.
Step 1, find product. Step 2, take my money.
Okay, so, right now, right, in the English metagame, I guess, of buying stuff, why are things so expensive? Why cards overall just very expensive, especially on release, right? On release, cards are crazy compared to Japan. Why?
Right. So one of the reasons why it is more expensive than Japan is just based off supply and demand. So in Japan, there's a lot of supply, and there's a lot of demand to meet up to that supply. And because there's a lot of supply, generally that's when things get cheaper.
Okay.
Now, in the English community, in the English world, right, we don't have as much supply. Even though there is a demand, the supply is obviously not going to be as much as Japan. And going about like how things are priced on release, right? Now, there's something called when you're opening a product, especially in order to sell. So for singles, so stores opening product for singles. The prices that you find that they based off, how they price the card is based off a general thing called EV.
Okay.
And EV is expected value. So when stores open product, there's an expected value of cards that they get from opening the product to sell. Otherwise, you know, that if they can't make money, they're obviously not going to do this, right?
Crazy.
So for each set, there's always an expected value that stores have to sell the cards for that amount to make money, right?
Yep.
And so let's say, for example, we'll talk about extra boosters, right?
Yep.
In extra boosters, there are 3 VRs, 3 different types of VRs. And with Vanguard, if you open a case, there's a set number of VRs you get. So the ratios are set. It's predetermined. There's no variance. And so based off this variance, a store can then work out how much they need to sell each card for in order to make money. Now, you might say, well, why is this VR $40 and this one $5?
Okay.
Well, that's based off demand. So let's just say when a store opens a product for the first time, the 3 different VRs. At the beginning, there might be a blanket price, right? So let's just say every VR is $20. But then you have this VR, which is very popular, effects really good, and you definitely know you need 4 copies of this card in your next top tier standard deck.
Yeah, okay.
So based off that, they'll be like, well, okay, $20 is too cheap for this card. So we'll increase it to $30. And then now, the other 2 VRs were $20, right?
Yeah.
But because one of them went up by $10, we then have to take the value away from the other 2 VRs.
Okay.
And we'll make it $15. And then you can go a next step further and go, well, this VR is worth more than $15. So let's put it back to $20. And then the remaining VR is not very good. And we'll drop it to $10.
Okay.
And that is why Claret Sword is $5.
Okay. Yeah, that just explains everything for me. Alright, so, okay, let's talk about, based on this logic, right? This idea that, you know, stuff needs to change, prices need to change, and people need to spend their money. If a set has a lot of really nice, high-end stuff like SPs, you know, God packs, or just everything is like a signed card or whatever, right? If there's a set that has so many of them, can it actually just make the whole set cheaper?
Yes. So part of the EV calculation, SPs are also taken into account. Because stores, right? Well, generally as a player, you don't normally encounter this. But as a store, they crack so much product that over the amount of product they crack, they will get the same amount of SPs. They'll generally get at least a playset of every SP. And so that also goes into the calculation with the same sort of like idea behind the VR example. Obviously, there's a bit more that goes into it. But general rule of thumb is if the high-end stuff sells for really high, like you have SPs breaking the $100 range, then it will lower everything else in the set. Look, the cost of everything else in the set. And there's been quite a number of examples, like Bermuda.
Yep.
There was a lot of VRs, and then the high-end stuff, like the signs, were really expensive. So you have some of the VRs being $1, $2.
Okay.
But then there was still the playables that were in demand, and so that increased a bit, but not too much, right? Not to this point where there's a big disparity. It was like $15 a Sonata, $15 a Caro. Like the playable VRs were $15. The rest of the set, the VRs were really, really low. The triple res and double res were negligible, and that's because the high end was so high that it dropped all the low end stuff to very low.
Okay, so I've noticed we've been talking a lot about Eevee, about cartons, right?
Yep.
If we only buy a single booster, do we talk about Ivy or what is?
What's this, Pokemon?
Could be Pokemon. I mean,
It could be
a card game
Pokemon.
too. Yeah. Does if you buy a lot of cases, does Eevee evolve into like Flareon or?
I mean, it could. Haven't happened. But,
Is that a new kind of calculation and maths that we need to consider?
well, generally, if you're only opening one box, there is no calculation. It's better. I opened SP. I didn't open SP. Oh no, what did I do? Or I opened this $40 VR. Or I opened this Claret Sword. That's going in the bin.
Okay, yeah. So now that we've established like on-release prices, how it is calculated and all that, why are some cards really messed up right now? Like Brandwin, ridiculous, and it's a triple R. It's not even a VR. We've been talking about VRs. Some of these triple Rs are crazy. What's
Yeah.
going on?
So, what was the case with Brahman now, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not released anymore. So, generally, when you find like old staples that go up in price, there's color reasons. The main reason is with the nature of Vanguard, right? There's only ever going to be, generally speaking, one printing of a product. They might reprint, but it's a thing that only happens in the extreme. They might ever reprint a set. Generally, they don't. So because the supply for it goes down, and then the demand for it goes up. So the reason why everyone's Baron is because there's gonna be new Shadow Paladins, PBO, because that card looks pretty sick. And and then people realize that Barons are really good, and so they start asking stores if they have Brandwins.
Yeah.
And obviously, most stores will either get bought out immediately when the spoilers come out. So they need to find a way to keep up with the demand. And one thing for them to do it is to set up a buy price that entices people to sell the Brandwins that they got from when they first bought it on release.
Yeah.
So let's say Brandwins on release were like 30 AUD, which is about 20 US, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The stores need to then set a price for people to entice people to sell it back to the store. So might buy it at like 25 USD, right?
Okay.
And so people initially that bought the Barons release, whoa, I make $5. I can just sell it to the store.
Yeah.
And I don't even play this deck anymore because Claret Sword is bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just cheap. They'll be like, I don't like shadows anymore, so I can make money and sell it back to the store. And so the store buys these Barons, and they'll be like, well, then I need to make money. So then they'll put up the price and sell it at what they need to make a profit. And which is why Brandwin is super expensive right now. And once a set and a card has been out for a while, the EV doesn't matter. That EV only matters on release and when you're cracking boxes for cards.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question, which is actually really crazy. Is when they announce reprints, people usually are like, "Oh my god, that means all the prices are gonna down." But for some reason, reprints and Boucheron products just mean everything stays the same price. Why is that?
Again, that goes to the supply and demand, right? Supplying Boucheron is print once, that's it. No reprints, no nothing. Unlike every other card game. And then, so they'll reprint something, people will buy it, and then more people want it. And so it just becomes like that. And it's also apparent in even like Magic,
Okay,
right?
alright.
They reprint a lot of cards, like Shocklands staple cards, get reprinted frequently. There'll always be that price. Even now, like even though there was like a reprint a year or two ago, it just went back up to the prices before they got reprinted. So you'll see that it'll drop the price temporarily and it'll just go back up once people buy it.
So the correct place to sell it when they announce the reprint, then immediately buy it back up or something? Or?
No. It's buy it when the reprint happens, and then sell it once the reprints sell out.
Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. This is the correct play, bud. So another thing I like to point out is, when I have high rarity cards, talking about sell it to the store. Why would I sell it to the store when I could just plainly make more money selling it to other people? And this is actually pretty interesting because in the West, I'd be called an idiot for selling cards to a store. I'm like, dude, you just wasted all your money. You could have sold it to people and they would have paid like twice the price of that. But then in Japan, he's gone on business trips to Japan. I went to Japan a few times. No one sells anything to other people. They might sell it to like the good friends, or they don't even trade though. They hardly even trade. All they do is they have cards and they usually just sell it to a store. Why is there such a difference, and why would I ever sell it to the store?
All right. So first I'll explain the benefits of selling to a store. So there's a couple of benefits of selling to a store. A store is almost guaranteed to buy any card in demand. So generally they don't buy commons. Some stores will buy bulk. But let's say you have a VR. You don't play anymore. You don't want this card, or you just found it in a shoebox somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That's it. You can always go to a store and they'll generally almost always buy it. And you don't need any knowledge about this card to be able to sell to a store. All you need to know is that it's a Vanguard card and it's a VR or a triple rare or an SP. A store will almost always buy it. So selling it to a store is easy and convenient because they will always buy it, and you can just do it almost any time. Selling it to a player, right? Yes, you will get more money from selling to other players, but you have to put in a lot more effort. Like you have to first look up how much the card is.
Yeah.
Identify the market price, and that may or may not be an easy thing. Next, you have to find the buyer. And finding the buyer, a lot of it's done through Facebook, through online, or even eBay.
There's not much choice nowadays.
Yeah, there's not much choice. And then next, the buyer might want to discuss with you the price. They'll discuss. You must come to an agreement. And if you're selling cards online, you have to mail it to that person. And the next thing is, you also have to find out if that person is trustworthy. So you have to do reference checks. So you have to go through all these effort. Yes, you'll make more money than if you're to sell it to a store, but you have to go through a lot longer of a process to sell your card. Whereas you just rock up to your local card store and be like, buy my card, and they'll be like, here's money.
No, you also forgot the most important step. Send it in at least a top loader.
Yes. That might be hard right now, so there are alternatives. You can easily find some cardboard and just wrap it up all nicely.
Yeah. So there you go. But don't forget that step. Don't just send it in a sleeve. What about Japan? What's the difference there?
So with Japan, there's a lot of cultural difference between Japan and the West. Japan is a society based off respect, and they have a lot of respect for rules. Right? Not talking about laws, because laws you have to follow it, but rules and regulations, they respect it and they follow it. And generally speaking, stores have no buying or selling except to the store. And so a lot of Japanese do respect this rule. So they'll almost never sell to between players. They'll always sell to the store. And even in like tournaments, you rarely find people trading because they all respect this rule. It's just
you're not allowed to trade as well.
You're allowed to trade, but no one does it.
Oh, okay.
No one does it. And because of that, if anyone ever needs looking for a card, they'll never ask the player. They'll just ask for a store. So it's like this cycle of where people generally only sell to stores, and players only ever ask for cards from stores, that there is no buying or selling between players in Japan. It's much very different to the West, because the West is, oh, can't sell in the store, but I'll meet you at the back of Macca's.
I'll just go outside.
Just go outside.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. It's like they respect the intention of the rule rather
Yes.
than the literal meaning of the rule. They're like, oh, not in the store? Let's just go to the front of this. Just outside the door and we'll do it there. It's like, last point here. What, in your opinion, is the best way, the correct way to buy product?
The byproduct.
Yeah, so I'm a Vanguard player. Newer set is coming out, and I want stuff from it. What would you suggest to me the way to buy product?
Well, firstly, before you buy anything, is to make sure you know what you want.
Okay.
So let's say you want to build Gear Chronicles,
Yeah.
and you really like, because you're a protagonist, you're the main character.
Okay.
You want to build Gear Chronicles. It would be a big mistake for you to buy something like EV12 because there's 0 Gear Chronicle cards. So, firstly, identify what is it that you want. So, you want to build Gear Chronicles? Obviously, you got to buy the next stage.
Yeah.
Right? So, you go to a shop, you buy EV14. That's the easy part. But now, when you buy EV14, there's also, if you only have interest in Gear Chronicles, you have these 2 other clans that you don't care about.
Yeah.
And what do you do with those? Well, one of the easiest way is to find 2 friends and get them into the game.
That could also be the hardest way to find friends. Depending on the person.
Everyone has the capability to make friends. you find 2 other friends, get them to split the box of you, so that way you can buy more product,
Yeah.
and then you have a chance to crack your SPs.
Okay.
If you open the God Pack, that's instant money, man. You just won. You just won the game.
Okay. And then I guess if you don't have friends, there is always singling.
Yes. Singling is always going to be the cheapest alternative, no matter what card game you play. Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, singling cards is always going to be the cheapest. However, there's some downside to it. One, the place you're singling might not have the cards, so it's a case of supply and demand as well. And 2, you're losing out on the chance to win with SPs. Because if you get an SP pack, you just won. It doesn't matter if it's a clan you don't want, because you're winning.
Yeah. I mean, I guess singling also sounds like the loneliest method.
I know, right?
Yeah. You have no friends, so you single. So.
Okay, but everyone has friends.
Okay, so that's interesting. So the most cost-effective way is to find friends and to actually just buy case, is it?
Yeah, buy a case. Splitting, because a case quantity, right? It's set how much you're gonna get in a case.
So you're confirmed to get a god pack. From
from EV14, you're confirmed to get a God Pack. There's 7. Actually, no. Actually, funny. EV14 doesn't have set VR ratios.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we got gypped.
Yeah, in one of my cases, I got 5 ult miles, and then I got like 10 next stages.
But you can sell the extra ult mile.
Yes.
And the god pack if you're not into the god pack.
Yes.
Yes.
So the cheapest way is to find a group of friends to split a case, buy a case, split up all the clans, and then you have all these SPs that you just win.
But what about if you were a rich person, like a rich foreigner, okay, and you just have so much money, you want to max tune or buy like the highest rarity, max rarity every single deck you own. Is it still buying cases? Is correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because at that point, why do you care? If you're looking at max raring a deck, instead of buying all the SPs singly, it's generally, I find, better to just open a certain amount of product and then fill in the gaps.
Okay. I guess you can also sell the playsets or whatever to people.
Yeah. You can sell all the low rare stuff to plebs.
Yeah, and you can also get them into your thing and give them a cheap playset or something like that. Yeah, okay.
That's another way of how you build up your community.
Oh, yeah. So rich people can build communities too. So.
Yeah. Do you know any rich people around you?
I know of some rich people. I don't know if they live around me though. They might live in other cities. Yes.
Same.
Oh no, actually, I do know some.
Who?
But he's not here today.
What a shame.
What a shame, yeah, indeed. Okay, so actually, I lied. There's actually one more question. This is the bombshell question, right?
Yeah.
Now that we're in late stage of V, was peak V is peak V more expensive, or is peak G era more expensive? This is the question that has been going around all the forums.
V is definitely more expensive.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes. Because if you look at G,
Yeah.
like the end of G, which is like 13, 14, right? The
Yeah.
big sets of
Zero of Dragons.
the Zero Dragon. When the Zero Dragons came out, sure, the Zero Dragons were expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And but people only needed one Zero Dragon, right? So even though I mean one of each.
Okay, sure.
One of each Zero
Well, you might
Dragon.
not even need one of each, depending.
Yeah,
on what
exactly.
country.
Depending, right? And when you look at that set, like it goes back to saying the EV calculation from before. When you remember when the first set of Zeros, which is the Megala, the blue one, Megiddo and Drachma came out, right?
Yeah.
If you look at all the GRs in that set and the triple rares, they were very, very cheap.
Oh, really?
Yes, they were
Wow.
like it was like $10 for a heritage, or something like that, right? And heritage was the bombshell, so you can see that sets were really cheap. Like the stuff were really cheap, but there was only just one expensive card. You never ever needed one. Whereas in V, you need a playset of the VRs.
Yeah.
You need a playset of brand ones. And so the VR
They need all the old stuff as well.
yeah, they also need all the old stuff. So it's just, I think V is more expensive. Like sure, in V there's like these one-off things that like in the peak, right? There was like G was expensive until Bushiroad decided that GRs needing to flip up themselves were a bad idea. From that point on, G got a lot cheaper. But V, it's still expensive because you look at like on release of stuff, you will have VRs that are quite expensive, and you need a playset. And at the peak of G, that was even the playset of the most expensive GR wasn't that expensive.
Okay. All right. That's on that bombshell. I think we'll end it for today. What should we say? You know all the YouTube-y shilling stuff.
You're the YouTuber.
I'm really bad at that though. I don't sell stuff.
Let us know your thoughts below in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see more of these content, just again leave a comment. I don't think you guys want to see me, so I don't know when's the next time you'll see me. But don't forget to check out all our sponsors. If you ever need cards, check out wcc-tcg.com, and don't forget to use WCC5 for 5% off your next order.
Okay, thanks, Andy. See you guys next time.
Thanks for having me.